Do I hop? Where to? Because I have no idea where I'm going.
So on this main looking road, you're gonna turn right up here.
So if I'm not smart enough to see it on this road, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Baggage on Beachfront Airlines Flight 783, now arriving in the B1 claim area.
What's up, friends? We are here on location in Virginia. This is actually one of our design clients, so super fun one. We get to fly out and actually help them install this one. We're doing some cool things. We'll give you a sneak peek. One of the most fun things we're doing here is we did a whole panelized lighting system, so we'll show you that on the inside. But anyway, cool project. We got to hustle. We only have a couple of days to knock it all out, but we'll show you around while we're here. So come on in. There's a couple of different ways you can do lighting control in a home. You can do wireless lighting or wireless switches. So the electrician puts in all their switches standard like you normally would. And then as you're ready, you can swap out those light switches for a smart switch or a smart dimmer. But this is called panelized lighting or centralized lighting. So if you can think of like a kitchen or a master bedroom where you may have 3 or 4 light switches in a row, and you have kind of this bank of light switches. With centralized lighting, we put all those light switches in a centralized location, usually next to the media rack, and then we replace all those light switches with a keypad. And what's cool is we get a lot of functionality with these keypads. We haven't actually programmed these yet, so I can't show you yet. But the top button in this application is gonna trigger the main lights in this room. And then each additional button is gonna run a scene. Start the music, start the TV, drop the shades, whatever the client wants us to do. If it's a larger room like a kitchen or great room, it's going to control all the lights, pendant lights, under cabinet lights, over cabinet lights, great room lights, island pendant lights, all from this one keypad instead of having 6, 7 light switches. So kind of a cool thing. Client did centralized lighting through the entire house. Our friends from Sound Effects, West Palmer at Sound Effects, actually worked with us to help design this one. So it's been a fun project for sure.
Got that on camera.
All right, so it's day 2. It's our last day here on the job site. We actually 3 days here, but 2 days actually working on the job site. We got about 5-6 hours left, and we got to be out of here. We got a 3-hour drive to catch an airplane out of here when we're done. So we got to hustle. We're coming a little bit hot, but think we're going to get it all done on time. So should be a fun run. So one of the cool things about this project, it's actually one of our design clients. Those of you that aren't familiar with our design service, kind of the way it works is clients reach out to us and send us their plans from all over the nation. And a lot of times it's somebody who's working with a couple of dealers already, and they're just trying to figure out, we just want some unbiased answers about whether or not they should use Control4 or Crestron, or whether or not they should use panelized lighting. Maybe they just want some help kind of cutting through all the noise, all the tips out there, right? And so they'll send us their plans, we design them, we lay it out, give them some ideas and some advice, some direction, and then we send the plans back to them. Some clients do the work themselves, some hire local dealers, but a handful actually reach out to and ask us to help them do the work. And so this client in particular, it was a really fun project because he wanted to do a lot with his panelized lighting. That was one of the big hot buttons. And so we worked a lot on this project here, and I saw this amazing project on the beach in Virginia. He's got this amazing dock that goes down. It's in the plans anyway. And I was like, man, we got to be a part of this. And he asked, he said, hey, can you guys come out here and do the work? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. This is a no-brainer. We want to be involved with this project. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's something that we love and have a great time doing with clients, and it lets us go all over the nation working with clients in their homes. So really cool project. One One of the things that we'll do, especially for our design clients, is when we're running the cables into the media rack location, there's different ways we can do it. A lot of times you'll see guys, and we do this too, you bring the wire out to the floor, you run it out 4 feet for the rack to slide out, and then another 10, 12 feet of slack. And we take that snake all the way into the rack. But when we're working with our design clients, a lot of times they want to be more involved, and some of them want to self-install. So what we'll do is we do this kind of approach where all the wires that are running the house, we actually terminate here in a low voltage panel. And then when the rack shows up, it has an umbilical cord on the back of the rack that just plugs into these ports. And as soon as they're plugged in, then the system's fired up and ready to go. It's all pre-programmed and set. So we actually had to assemble the rack here on site for this one, but you'll see the umbilical cord and how we just plug it in, so it makes real quick work if you're doing kind of the prefab rack approach. So kind of cool, and we'll show you that in a second. So we have a lot of clients that ask us kind of for an explanation of how the centralized lighting works, and just wanted to take advantage of this. I know this probably looks a little archaic, but we'll simplify it for you. You can see each of these kind of pair of wires that are going into spots. Those are basically your light switch or your dimmer that used to be out in like the kitchen or the great room, and we're centralizing it all here in this panel. So every one of these pairs is one of those switches that's now not visible on your wall, and it's kind of hidden here. And so depending on how many light switches and dimmers you have throughout the home, we're going to order in the right amount of, call these modules, right? And then those keypads are actually pointing back to here and telling which one of these switches or dimmers should turn on or turn off. And the cool thing that Wes and the guys at Sound Effects did for this home is each one of those keypads manually controls the main light in each room with the top button. So most of the home is wired back to here. Those main keypads are hardwired for the main light in each room of the house. So there's always manual control in every single room of the house. You don't have to worry about the system going down. You're still gonna have, if for whatever reason the system stops responding, you've got the main light switch in every room. But then the additional 5 buttons is gonna point to some of these other switches and dimmers, turn them on and drive them, but reduce all that kind of wall acne and wall clutter on the wall. So in case you're ever wondering, this is kind of what panelized lighting looks like. As always, we appreciate you watching. We'd love it if you'd like, subscribe, and share this with your friends.